Welcome all, it's Boone here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, starting with the DXY on the daily. If I just get my pen up. So now we virtually have this A, B, C in here. We have broken the ending point of that wave A there. It's really going down onto the lower time frames. We still can get some more downside down to that 100 fib, or it may even come down to this 161.8 and turn motive. But really, in the whole scheme of things, I'd be looking at like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then possibly 1, 2, 3, or 5 up in here for a larger complex correction, 3, 3, 5 or 3, 3, 3, and then we get an A, a B, and a C. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at on the daily. On the lower time frames, there still is possibly more downside. We have 3 down in here. We have like 1, 2, 3. We can get a wave 4 in here and a 5th one down. We do have a bear hidden here, so by no means this downtrend is over. You know, there's no signs that this downtrend is over. On the H1, it was a buy. It was a buy on the lower time frames down in here. This in here. If you're not in that, it's going to be hard to get in. You know, that's what I try and teach the people in my group, you know, to get in on the first trade, you know. So if you're not in it already, you really have to go down to the lower time frames and really see what's going on, because you know, we already have bearish divergence on the M15. So you'd be just scalping up here if you're looking for the buys. Ideally, the safest way now, we got an impulse up on the H1, so I'd be waiting for a correction in here, a H1 correction, and then another one up, trading that wave C up, and then, you know, if you get a nice impulse down and a correction, well, then you can look for that 5th wave down, like I showed that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really, you'd be waiting for this correction in here, and then looking to buy, seeing how far it goes, and then looking for a sell possibly. AU, not much has changed. Like we have like 1, 2, 3 down in here, 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm still looking for a bit more upside up to this 100 fib. We may get a correction in the meantime, and to get in on this now, you know, you pretty much have to wait for that correction. Waiting for a correction down to possibly this 50 fib, and then we'll look for a buy. Got to wait for that correction. The H1, you know, we got all this bearish divergence, and it's a sell at this particular stage. It's really on the lower time frame, because this is the top here and not that there. So yeah, the M15, we were in a wave 3, so we got like 1, 2, 3. This still may not be over. You get a wave 4, and then you look for that wave 5 down, scalping, wait for the larger correction, and then more downside. GU, this is pretty much played out. We're looking at that like A, B, C. I left this count on, like I've mentioned, and we're getting an extended wave up in here. But you know, this can still be like an A. All this is a B, and then we get a C down in here for a running or expanding flat in here, and then we get an A, B, C. So like I've been mentioning, we've really been going down onto the lower time frames to get direction. We were looking for this up in here. We had that ball hidden, like I've mentioned many times at the time. It went further than I thought, and we lost all that bearish divergence. So I'm just looking for that correction back to the 50 fib roughly, and then we can look for a buy again. H1, we can see that this is looking very corrective in here. I would still like to, get a little bit more downside to get the risk reward. But overall, we do have a ball hidden here. So, wherever this correction here ends, I'd be looking for more upside. Quickly go down to the M15. We don't have any bullish divergence here on the M15, so more than likely there's still more downside in it. It is still looking a little bit bearish in here for the buy, and really, I'm really only just looking for the buy on this particular pair. I'd need a nice impulse up and then a correction to start to look for buys. Until that really happens, we get that nice impulse up, I'll pretty much be staying out of this unless I'm just scalping the shorts into the correction. EU, it's pretty much following my arrows that I put on ages ago. I'm looking at that A, B, C. We got that C up. So I'm looking for the larger A, B, C down now. Before we get that like A, B, C. H4, there still is possible more upside in this. We get a wave 5 up. This wave 3 didn't quite get to that 161.8, but we're starting to get that correction. We're getting a possible ball hidden here in that wave 4. So wait for this to be over, and then you can look for that wave 5 up. May not be ready yet. We're looking for a larger correction. We're looking for a correction of a similar size to this. Over here. So there still is a time factor here. Wait for that time factor and then start looking for the buy. It's very similar to GU. Like, I wouldn't really be looking to sell this at this stage. I'll just so it's just about down to that 38.2. We are starting to get that bullish divergence on the M15, so I wouldn't be looking for the sell. I'd be waiting for whatever happens in here, get that time factor, and then I'll be looking for a nice impulse up and a buy setup to buy for that wave 5 on the H4. NU, it's pretty much playing out as well. Like I mentioned last week, we broke this ending point here, so we got an A, B, C in here, and now I'm looking for that A, B, C up. On the daily, we're really waiting for a correction in here to buy. The H4, very similar to EU, we're waiting for a wave 4, and then I'll be looking for that wave 5 up to trade that wave 5 up. I dare say, we'll get a correction in here, and possibly a bull hidden. And then I'll be looking for that wave 5 up. Again, I'll be waiting for a correction similar size to that over here, get that time factor, get a bull hidden or something to give you the direction, and then start looking for that wave 5 up. GY on the daily, this is, like I've mentioned many times, we got a nice impulse down. We do have a bull hidden here, so I'm expecting either a deep correction to this, or it goes up and breaks the top and gives us a running or expanding flat before we get more upside. I'm looking for a correction in here, basically a larger correction on the daily. Sort of, we've been going sideways for quite some time now. Really, I'd like some sort of an a B, and a C in here, some sort of running or expanding flat, and then you could look for a C up, like an A, B, C. And then, you'll see how far this wave C goes. It may turn into a motive, because like I mentioned, I am expecting at least a deep correction to this. So back to the 78.6, or even possibly the 90 fib. So I don't think it's ready yet. I wouldn't be looking for the buy just yet in here. It just doesn't look complete to me, this correction in here. We're not getting a higher high. This is very choppy in here. So I'm looking at that as a B wave, and then we get an A, a B, and a C. After we get that wave C down, well, then I'll start to look for the buy for the like A, B, C, or it may turn motive, like I mentioned. But I don't think this is quite ready yet to for the buy. UY is very similar. This one doesn't have the ball hidden, but ever since we started to get this wave up in here, I've always been looking at this as the B wave, and we got the A, this is the B, and we got that C down. So I am looking for a buy, and this is a larger flat here. I was looking for a bear hidden here. We had that bear hidden in here. We did get a deep correction, probably down to the 78.6 fib of that move up. So that's fine. There was a buy on this during the week. If you're not in it, it's going to be difficult to get in, because it's like the Swissy. It went sideways for quite some time in here, so it was quite difficult to get in. But if you got in this, it was sort of a little flat in here. It didn't look very nice, but it has gone. It is quite risky to get in. It never gave a nice setup. That was the problem. So yeah, you'd just be scalping. You'd be waiting for a little correction and possibly more upside. Doesn't look like there's any bearish divergence there. So if you get a little flag or something, you could look for the upside, see how far it goes. But yeah. UCAD pretty much played out on the lower time frame. On the daily, we got that 1, 2, 3, a wave 4, and we were looking for that wave 5 up. It never went and broke the ending point of wave Y. Instead, we get in this large correction. We've been looking at this on the lower time frame in here, and that's played out on the H4. We got the 5 up. So we had that complex correction in there, 333, and we got the higher high. Now we got that impulse down, so I'm waiting for the correction in here for a sell. Really just sitting on the sideline at this stage, waiting for that sell, or you're looking for the buy to buy into the correction back to the 50 fib. I'll just have to change that a little bit. But you can see how corrective it's looking. If you want to buy into this correction, it's going to be choppy, very similar to like UY and GY. So it's quite risky. The safest way is to wait for this correction and then look for the sell. And that could take, a couple of weeks to get that. So yeah, There's really not much happening on it. We have a nice impulse down, so it's a waiting game, just waiting for this correction, and then we look for that sell. The Swissy, nothing's really changed since last week. We've got that wave A. I'm looking at this as a B, and we get that C up. Like I mentioned, this can go and break that low. That B wave can come and break that low, or it just gives us a regular correction in here, regular flat correction in here. I'm looking for that C up. We have broken the low, so that's great. We had the 5 down, and we lost the bullish divergence, and we had a bear hidden in here. Like I've mentioned, we had that bear hidden. That's come down and broken the low, and now it's a buy. You got to be careful in here too, because we got a nice impulse up from the low, but we still do have a possible bear hidden here. I'd be looking for the buy, but you got to be a bit careful now. I'm in a buy right down in here on the, it was an M1 trade. I'd be looking for, it's more on the M15, but I'd be looking for like an A, B. Got a C down in here. We never got the cross down on the MACD though, and it's come up in here, and it's looking very much bullish. You could give this a go for the buy, and look at that as a flat. But yeah, it's not really showing on this time frame on the M15. That flat, we did, like I mentioned, we didn't get that cross down on the MACD. Would have really liked that cross down and then look for the buy, but it looks complete. We got an impulse up, getting a bullish flag in here, so you definitely can go down to the lower time frames, look for a buy, see how far it goes. Yeah. EG, this has become very deep. Only looking for buys. We have all that bullish divergence on the daily, and we have this nice impulse up. The problem is we've got a nice impulse up, and it's come straight back down. It's come down just as quick as it went up. So I'm not convinced this is over. We only got the 3 up in here, and now we're getting like 1, 2, 3, possibly get a wave 4 in here, and then get a 5th one down. If we get a 5th one down, breaking that low, well, I'd be looking at it as an A, a B, and a C as a running or expanding flat before we get more downside. So, I mean, I'm only looking for buys, and even if it's buying into this wave 4, because this may take off because of the levels we are at the daily. This could take off at any time. It's more on the lower time frame, this one as well, to get into the buy. As you can see here on the M15, we're coming from a fresh low. We got a nice impulse up. We're getting some sort of an A, B, C in here, running or expanding. Well, an expanding flat. So you definitely look for a buy in here. I mean, you're going down to the lower time frames to look for this. It's more on the M5. We got the impulse up. We got an A. We got a B just breaking that top. We're getting a C down. On the lower time frames, you look for a little correction in here, flag, and you look for at least an A, B, C, and if you're lucky, it takes off for you. WTI has been quite tricky to trade. Sort of looking at this as a B wave, we get that A, B, C, like I've mentioned, I haven't changed my count, and then I'd be looking for that A, B, C before we get the larger A, B, C. So that's pretty much the structure I'm looking at on the daily. It's messing around in here. We're getting a lot of noise. As you can see, I put this count on a while ago, but I'm looking for that A, B, a C up. We still can get more upside in here. Sort of getting like 1, 2, 3 down in here now. So this may even turn more complex, and this may be an A, a B, a C in here, and then you get an A, B, C before you get the A, B, C. So this may turn more complex because of what's happening in here at this current stage. But, you know, I'm still looking for more upside. We were looking for that 50 fib retrace to come back to the 61.8. Just pretty much looking for a buy, but I don't think it's ready on the M15. On the M15, we still may get another one down in here because, you know, we got like 1, 2, 3. You wait for that wave 4 and a fifth one down, and then we want a nice impulse up correction. And, you know, this is what you don't want to miss for upside. But in the shorter term, like I mentioned, there more than likely is another one down in this. We get a fifth wave down. So you could look for some sort of an A, a B, a C up in here, some sort of a running or expanding flat, and then we look for that wave 5 down. I'm more interested in the buy, but you definitely, you know, if you get that flat in there, you can scalp that wave 5 down and then start looking for the buys. Gold, we're right up the top here now. You're really sitting on the sideline up here. You know, you don't want to be buying up the top of the market. We got the 5 up. It hasn't quite got to that second target, that 161.8, but yeah, we're right up the top of the market. H4, we got the 5 up as well. This can be an extended wave. We get 1, 2, 3. We get a correction in here for a wave 4, and then we get a fifth one up, finishing off that wave 5. On the H1, you can see that it's staying up the top here. So I'm not convinced it's over. I'd be looking at some sort of a B wave in here, and we get an A, a B, a C down in here. Then if you get a buy set up, you could look for the scalp. Only after you get this C down to give you a better risk reward, and then get a you know, impulse up on the lower time frames, a bullish setup, and you look for just to go and break the top. You definitely want to be at break even at the break of the top. Silver, we may get a wave Z up here. Gold gave us the fifth wave up, whereas silver never did. We got that 1, 2, 3. We in this wave 4, we got that wave 4, and we got a nice impulse up. I'm more interested in the buy, and it is, you can really only buy this. Just waiting for a nice correction, and we are getting a correction. We got a nice impulse up in here. On the H1, we got the 5 up. We got that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, the bearish divergence. We sort of getting 5 down in here on the lower time frame as well. But I'm waiting for probably get another correction in here and another 5 down in here back to the 50 fib. So you get an A, a B, and I'd be looking for that wave C up. And this can turn motive to go and break the top for that that daily wave Z up. So really just sitting on the sideline waiting for this to be over, this correction. I still think there's more downside in it. There's no bullish divergence. We lost all the bullish divergence in this wave Z in here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get more, you know, like I mentioned, a larger correction than these in here. Get a larger correction and then another 5 down. So this may be quite choppy. Buying into this, you know, you pretty much have to get your entry wherever you get. If you're looking for the buy into this correction, well, you know, you just stop down here and you're riding through all this chop, and then you just take profit when you start to see it reverse, and then you could look for, you know, the sell. Bitcoin was very similar to silver. We didn't get the Z up. I was looking for that Z up there. It never happened. Instead, we're in this large correction. This does look very corrective for more upside. Whether this is all over yet, there was a nice buy on this. It's already played out. It only gave us 3 up. Unfortunately, it didn't take off. But we had that nice impulse up in here, and we we're looking for, you know, that C up in there. And this may have turned motive. It never did. Instead, it's quite difficult now because, you know, we have a bull hidden in here. So this may be some sort of an A, a B, a C in here as a flat. And then you get the A, B, C. So at this particular stage, there's that possible bull hidden. So it does become risky to buy. Actually, I think it may have actually broken this low here. So I think it has actually taken out the hidden divergence. Just. So you possibly could look for the sell. I mean, yeah, it's already sort of played out because we have a lower low in here. We have bullish divergence. So yeah, you're really going down scalping on the lower time frames at this stage. Yeah, what I'd be looking for is like an impulse up, coming breaking that top, and then if it gives you a bullish setup, well, then you can look for a buy for at least a C up. But other than that, if it, you know, you really have to wait for that top to be broken, or else it becomes risky. On the lower time frames, it looks like a little flat forming here. I shouldn't really be going down to these lower time frames, but this looks like a B wave in here, just breaking that top. You get an A, a B, you get this C down, and then if you get a buy set up, you look for the buy for the at least an A, B, C. So yeah, S&P 500. This is right up the top of the market. I would be just leaving it alone pretty much until we get a larger correction. We had this nice impulse up. It's correcting, but it's staying up the top. It's very much bullish. But I would have really liked to see, you know, a 50 fib retrace in the correction to give me the risk reward to buy. Yeah, I mean, you could give it a go in this range here. You know, if you got a buy set up at the low of the range, you know, on the lower time frames, you could, you know, give it a go. But yeah, at this stage, I'm leaving alone. It's right up the top of the market. AU 200, we got the C up, like I've mentioned. We got that A, B, C. The 100 pip was around there, so I just went just past that 100 pip. The target. Thing is now, it's very similar to S&P 500. We had a nice impulse down and it's gone straight back up. So this may be some sort of an A, B, C here, the flat, and you get like an A, B, and we're getting a C up now. Again, it's very risky. You really need, well, I've got the, you can see that we were looking for sells. We had that nice impulse, and I was looking for a correction in here back to the 50 fib or 61.8. It's gone way past that. It's up to the 90 fib. So I wouldn't be surprised if this turns more complex and we get like a correction in here, and we get 1, 2, 3 up, breaking the top, and then you get an A, a B, and a C as a larger flat before we get more upside. It's not really fitting in with my daily structure that I'm looking at with this larger C down on the, this is a weekly C down. But there's still maybe more upside before we get that wave C down. You're pretty much just waiting for a correction in here to buy, yeah, just to go and break the top. The FTSE, we were waiting for a larger correction in here. It's gone. It's only a buy now. You can only buy this. We have a higher high here, but we have a higher high. This looks like some sort of a flat, an A, a B. You get a C down in here, running or expanding flat, and then you look for the C up. Until you got this C down here, I would be leaving alone. You know, for the buy at least. You know, I wouldn't be trying to buy up here. You know, that's silver side. I'd be waiting for at least an A, a B, a C, get some sort of a larger correction, and then start to look for the buy. There is no sell on it. There's no sell on it. So, you know, there's no sell on it at this stage. For the sell, you know, wherever this ends, you want a nice impulse down and a nice bearish setup, and then you look for that C down for that A, B, C. We don't have that yet. It's more bullish up here on the lower time frame still. Lastly, the DAX. This has gone up and broken the top. Really, all you can do for this now is wait for a correction. We have a nice impulse up. If we get a correction in here and it looks nice and corrective, well, then you could look for a C up. But again, you know, like the FTSE, I wouldn't be looking for buys up here. You really have to wait for the correction, and that could take, you know, 2-3 weeks to get that correction. So I'd be sitting on the sideline, you know, with all the indices really. I'd be sitting on the sideline and waiting for the correction, and then start to trade it. So I hope you enjoyed the weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.